Hello, this is Gene Schwab from eLearning. More and more faculty are using Respondus 4.0, which is used to convert old paper tests to online Blackboard tests, or as a way of authoring new tests without dealing with the Blackboard test authoring interface. Note: please do not confuse this software with Respondus Lockdown Browser and Monitor, which are used to deter and detect cheating on online exams. This video will not teach you the basics of Respondus 4.0, but it will point out a few places where you can save time using Respondus 4.0, including both Respondus tips as well as things you can do in Respondus that you can't do in Blackboard. Let's begin. I'll assume you've properly authored your input document either in Microsoft Word or a text editor. Remember, even though Respondus software only runs in Windows, your input document can be created on any platform, including a Mac. So if you want to get your test ready on a Mac and then do just the Respondus processing in Windows, or have someone else do that for you, it's no problem. Instructions for formatting and inputting our document are on our website at umb.edu/elearning. But if you do have a PC and load the Respondus software, here's tip number 1. The best reference materials for using Respondus 4.0 can be found by clicking Help Topics after opening Respondus. Tip number 2 is a quick one. After you open the Respondus screen, go to File Preferences and set a default value for question points. If you use Respondus often, it will remember this from one test to another, and you can change the value of exceptions to this when you preview your tests. Tip 3 has to do with the Import Question screen. I'll assume for the moment that you're importing a docx file. You have to specify the type in any case. You're asked to create a new document. That's a little misleading because what you're really creating is a Respondus file. And if you get to the end of this screen and need to go back and make changes in the input document, you can't overwrite that Respondus file. So what I always do is create a name that is sequential each time I attempt to import my docx. For example, R1, R2, R3. This is important because Respondus saves the work you are doing in these files, and if it blows up, let's say right before you publish to Blackboard, you can open up the newest of these files and pick up where you left off rather than starting over. Tip 4, also on the Import Question screen, is my recommendation not to use question titles. Should you decide to randomize questions when deploying a test, meaningful question titles can help students to more easily match randomized questions, and you don't want that. Tip 5, and this is really important to remember. A Respondus tech person told me that the product was originally designed to work with plain text files. So if you try to debug an error by modifying your input file, it might just be something in your Word file and nothing you can fix. You can always save your Word document as a plain text file using the options Other Encoding UTF-8 and Allow Character Substitutions, and then import that file. The other important thing to note here is that you can always edit what you import in Blackboard. So if a question doesn't import, remove it and manually add it back in Blackboard. The same thing with illustrations. I find it easier to add an image in Blackboard, so I remove those from my input document and edit my Blackboard test to put them back in. Tip 6, and this is a big one. After loading your file, click on Settings and Other Settings. Go to the section at the bottom called Question Presentation. For randomized answers in multiple choice response, you can choose Yes. That is assuming you want this option. Then for answer numbering, select one of the options available. My favorite is lowercase a, b, c, d. If you do not set randomized answers and answer numbering in Respondus, you will have to do these one question at a time in Blackboard, which is exhausting. I don't know why Blackboard doesn't have an option to set this for the entire test, but this alone justifies using Respondus. You can also set our recommended one question at a time here, but if you don't, that's easy to do in Blackboard. Our final tip is number 7. Click Preview and Publish, and actually preview all the questions. It's faster to modify the questions here than in Blackboard. It's also a good place to change the point values if any questions are not the default value. And if you are randomizing answers on multiple choice or multiple answer questions, look for any questions where this doesn't make any sense. For example, questions with answers like all of the above or both B and C are correct. Remove the randomized answer option from these questions. That's all I have for now. I hope you found at least one thing that you didn't already know and that will make you a better Respondus 4.0 user. If you have any questions or have a tip you'd like to share, please contact us